You can fix income inequality simply by making some people worse off. You can make everybody in the country worse off, and income inequality can get better as long as you're squishing it together down.
The topic du jour nationally is income inequality, maybe globally, and that seems to be the natural progression of a discussion for raising tax, particularly raising taxes on the wealthy. In California, we've seen that with Prop 30, where we tax the wealthiest Californians. The argument was it would help improve schools and do all these other things. Do you think that the income inequality debate is going to lead to a policy debate on tax increases? And is there a potential or appetite in Washington, D.C. for such a tax increase?
As long as you have a Republican House, that's not going to happen. But it is. Saturday Night Live used to have the routine where the land shark would knock on the door and say he was the pizza man and he was the super, and it turns out he was a land shark. Okay. Democrats and statists stand outside the door wanting to raise taxes. They say education, inequality, a war, open the door, it's a tax. Sure. Surprise. Trying to get their hands on you. So, and I'm writing a book actually on the history of taxation in the United States. And there's a series of about 10 lies that they tell to get, to raise taxes. Someone else will pay it, it's only on the rich, it's temporary. This is a new one. Used to be, for years, there's income inequality. The left used to claim we know how to create jobs by taking tax dollars and then giving them back, and all of a sudden, even though you took $100 out and then you used $100 to hire people, more people were hired.
Sure.
Except the same $100. That didn't work. And so they've quit saying they can create employment with government spending. At least they've quit saying it credibly, because people laugh at them. With Obama, he spent $800 billion just handing out cash, and that was supposed to create economic growth and end poverty. Didn't do either. So they don't want to be asked any annoying questions about, so what happened to 5 years of massive spending? Did we create jobs? What happened to 50 years of welfare spending? Did we alleviate poverty? So then I've got a third reason, which is there's income inequality. And you can fix income inequality simply by making some people worse off. You can make everybody in the country worse off, and income inequality can get better as long as you're squishing it together down, okay, as opposed to raising it. So this is just another ruse to raise taxes, to change the conversation from their failed make-work job spending programs and their failed welfare system and welfare spending, which was supposed to end poverty, which they told us they knew how to do. I mean, Jeffrey Sachs is always telling us he knows how to do it. If you just give him another couple $1 trillion. What happened to the last trillion we lent you? Shut up, don't you like children? So I think there's I don't think they're getting anywhere with it, but it is fascinating to see them drop the lie that they could create jobs with government tax money, drop the focus on ending poverty, and go simply to, Bill Gates has more money than you, we ought to fix that. You can fix that without making me any better off at all. All you have to do is kneecap Bill Gates.
Sure.
But that doesn't make the economy better.
And do you see there being some movement from the one percenters or whatever you want to call them, that are concerned that because income inequalities as a debate is hitting a fevered pitch, that they're feeling more pressure, or they see that the Occupy movement spreading at different places? Do you see them kind of stepping in and saying, okay, we need to do something to address income inequality, and could they potentially be the leaders on, hopefully not a tax, but even a tax?
There was an effort that previewed this in 2011 when Obama wanted to raise taxes rather than cut spending as part of the debt ceiling increase. Republicans wanted to cut $2.5 trillion in spending over a decade. He wanted to have most of that, all of it, be a tax increase. And so he set up this group, Patriotic Millionaires for Higher Taxes, who went around saying, we'd like to pay more in taxes. They came to visit me at Americans for Tax Reform. And I said, fine, you do know there's a line on your income tax form where you can, would you like to send more? You can. What are you bothering me for? Go fill that out. And you can send a note to that effect to any other billionaire who thinks he would like to pay more in taxes. So they're hypocrites. They're like the guy at the bar who pretends that, I want to fight you, and he pretends someone's holding him back. No one's holding them back from writing a check to the government. But rich liberals would never think, you never hear a rich liberal announce, I have $1 million grant and I'm giving it to the Department of Motor Vehicles, or I'm giving it to food stamps because they do such fine work. Because they believe that they can spend their money better on anything from poverty to job creation to education. They can spend it better than the government would. But they want higher taxes on other people because the government's smarter, better, and more competent than you, not than them. They're smarter and better than the government. They know the government's not as good as them. They never write a check to the government. If they have extra money, they spend it themselves in their own structures. You, however, couldn't possibly spend your money as wisely as the idiot government. So it's not really an expression of value in government, it's an expression of contempt for you as the average person when they say taxes should be higher, because they don't mean taxes on them should be higher. They can write checks anytime they want. They choose not to. In Massachusetts, there's a law, Arizona, Arkansas too, 6 states total, but I'm most familiar with those two. There's a little line. Would you like to send in more at state level? We were trying to get Kerry's tax returns to see whether he did it when he was running for president, but he wasn't sharing. So I think every state should have one of those tax me more lines.
I wonder if anyone ever actually uses those. I'd be curious to know
A few,
what
a handful of
percentage.
people, yeah.
And I wonder if they're the wealthiest.
Yeah, it's a good question. I know some conservatives who do it in order to pay a little bit more than's demanded to make it tougher to yell at them.
To get audited, so they
yeah,
don't
to
get audited.
yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Grover, for your time.
Good to be with you.